How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Worldwide Rush. Today, we are going to be leaving the Discover mode behind. Not forever. I did see your comments. I have been reading through them, and I've seen a couple of you mention that going back into Discover mode might be a really good idea and could be a fun challenge. I do want to do that. I think here and there, we're going to dive back into Discover mode and see if everything that I learn about this game can be applied to that particular challenge. But today is going to be all about the classic mode, where we are going to be competing against other companies while building a thriving logistics company. So I think in this case, we will probably just go for Nerdresoft Logistics. I think the logo can be the penguin. I think we'll go for the usual sort of pinkish red with a white background. And then everything else in here, I think, is gonna stay about where it is. I think default settings are fine. This is the seed. If you want to play along, you absolutely can. But without any further ado, let's get started. And so Nerdresoft Logistics enters the global arena with a small loan of $3 million. Turn this modest start into a world-spanning logistics powerhouse. Prove your ambition. So what's different about this mode to the Discover mode, as you can probably tell, is that we have the entire world at our fingertips. We could go absolutely anywhere we want. We could go over to, say, New York and get started with a logistics company in here. But I think what I might do, just because it's a little closer to home and I think it's going to be a little bit easier to manage to begin with, is I might start in London or I might start in Dublin. Now, Dublin has a line that wants to go, or it has passengers that want to go to Kilkenny. So we could do a little bus route down that way, but we have people from Dundalk. This is starting to feel like Transport Fever. This will be familiar to those of you that have been watching the Transport Fever series. Mullingar, Dublin, Kilkenny, etc. All very familiar. But we have people that want to go from Dundalk to Dublin. We have people that want to go from Belfast to Dundalk and from Derry City to Belfast. So what I'm thinking is train lines might not be a bad idea. We also have people that want to go from the Faroe Islands down to Derry City. So that's going to be either boats or that's going to be planes, most likely. But the way I'm looking at this is a line from Derry to Belfast, Belfast to Dundalk, Dundalk to Dublin, Dublin to Waterford and or Kilkenny, Waterford to Tralee. Like, we have the opportunity to set up a really big line here. So I think what we'll do is establish my first hub in Dublin, which is $750,000. Totally okay with that. Not a problem whatsoever. Now, we do have to keep in mind that people want to go from Dublin to both Manchester and Birmingham. So we're probably going to want to fly people over there. But we're also kind of going to need the money to make that happen. So let's figure out how exactly we're going to make this happen. Now, admittedly, the Birmingham line isn't super busy, so we could fly people to Manchester and then take them to Birmingham via Stoke-on-Trent, which does have demand for Birmingham as well. But the good news, now that I think about it, is I don't need to worry too much. We're not going to fail in this mode if I don't move people. It's just that Dublin might struggle a little bit. So I think what we'll do is keep it relatively simple. We're going to create a line from Dublin to Kilkenny. I think it is going to be a train line. It is a little bit more expensive to do this, but I think expanding train lines somewhere down the line, pun sort of intended, is going to be a pretty good shout. Now, the Class 2663 can carry 40 people per wagon for a maximum capacity of 160. So 4 wagons. I'm tempted to go for this. The only problem is that this is not going to be running at maximum efficiency from Dublin to Kilkenny. There are only 15 people that want to go down there, but I'm hoping as things level up a little bit, we might be all right. So I maybe want to go for road vehicles, actually, just to play it safe. It might be for the best until we get some money. So we'll go for the Aka, which I think is fine. We're going to be connecting out this way, which is because this road could go down straight to Limerick as well. So we'll build that road for $146,000. We will create this route, and I think we're going to put 2 vehicles in this line instantly, because that's going to give us room for 18 people going from Dublin to Kilkenny. There's demand for 15, but that is going to grow, so I'm totally fine with that. Looking at Kilkenny itself, it does have people that want to go to Dundalk, so actually having a train line that does make that journey would be good, but they also want to go to Limerick, and Limerick wants to go to Dublin. So we could, I guess, do a line from Kilkenny to Limerick, Limerick to Dublin. No one from Limerick wants to go to Kilkenny, but that's probably fine. Let's go ahead and set up a little route here. Again, just for a little bit of money. There are 15 people that want to do this. We'll go ahead and build that road, create, oh, wow. That is relatively expensive. Why is it? Hold on a minute. Oh, it's because I'm creating a hub in Kilkenny. That makes perfect sense. Oh, I don't know that I want to do that. I don't love the idea of doing that. I think a hub in Limerick might be more beneficial. So if I could, can I flip this around? Yeah, we can build it in Limerick, because that way we are able to connect boats out of here if we need to. So we'll create this. That'll be totally fine. That'll get people from Kilkenny to Limerick. And then from Limerick to Dublin, there are 22 people that want to do that. So let's create another route. This time we're not building any roads. We'll use the ACA once again. We will put another vehicle on that line. The Kilkenny line, I think we'll do the same thing, because there is decent demand there. We have a limited inventory of vehicles. Inventory resets every month. It can be increased if all available vehicles are bought in a month. Okay, so we've bought all the vehicles that we can get for this month. Let's run things and see what happens. We'll speed it up a little bit. We got people moving around. Here's hoping that we make some money out of this. And I should also mention, if we have a look down this way, there are other companies. There are AI on this map. There's 30 other AI companies that are going to do all sorts of absolute chaos around here. I do want to get into London at some point to figure everything out, but I think for now we just need to make sure that these lines make money. So let's have a look at Dublin. The Kilkenny line is being fulfilled. The Manchester line is not. So let me see if we have enough money to run people over to Manchester by plane. Is that something we can do? We do have the money for one of the faster planes, which is going to give us, compared to the Nimbus 230, if we get the Nimbus 230 running at full capacity, estimated profit is going to be 259,000. If the A70 runs at full capacity, the estimated profit is about 300,000. So that's tempting just solely because it's a faster plane, but it's over double the price for the sake of $41,000. So I think we'll go for this guy. It is a little bit more affordable. And I think just for the sake of it, I might put 2 of them on here. Does anyone want to go from Manchester to Dublin? They don't. Okay, so we'll just do the one plane and see how it goes. And hopefully that is also going to make us money. Like I said, no one's particularly interested in going from Manchester to Dublin. Oh no, there are people wanting to go there. Okay, so yeah, this plane's making a little bit of money, which is good. We're seeing a little bit of money up here as well in terms of profitability, which is also good. So let's have a look. Now that it is a new month, I think we should be able to get this Limerick to Kilkenny line sorted out. It looks like it's being dealt with though, so I'm not actually too worried about it. I think we're kind of okay with this. We do have people that want to go to Galway though, so setting up a little line down this way from Limerick to Galway might not be the worst idea in the world. We'll go for the ACA once again. We'll build the road, we'll create the route, and that is hopefully going to make us just a little bit of money. Now, looking at my vehicles overall, most of them are losing money. At least my road vehicles are losing a little bit of money here. So I'd like to look at this one, which is on the Limerick to Dublin line. It is just not making money, which is kind of concerning. So I think what we'll do is get rid of the one that's losing the most so that we can get a little bit of money back from that and hopefully lose a little bit less. That should mean that this one vehicle is running a little bit more efficient because it's going to be moving more people. Then we have the Dublin to Kilkenny line as well. I'm going to get rid of one of these guys because apparently that's not going very well for me. And we have the Limerick to Dublin line, which will get sorted out. I'm thinking one bus on each of these is hopefully going to be enough to figure things out. This one is not really running full whichever way it's going, which is kind of problematic. I don't love that we're losing money. At least it feels like we're kind of making money. It's maybe balancing itself out a little bit. It's sort of balancing itself out a little bit. The plane, on the other hand, is doing amazingly. It's making a ton of money. So if we go and have a look in here, the Manchester line is being fulfilled, but it could be better. The Manchester demand over here for Dublin is, I got no idea. Do people want to go to Dublin? They kind of do. So that's not so bad. I think what we could do is maybe put another plane on that line and hope that it makes money for us. So we'll put a plane there and see how that goes. We can kind of keep an eye on both of them here and see if they both make money, which they sort of are. I don't know if I'm now losing more money than I was earning. It's kind of hard to tell, to be completely honest. I think we're doing okay. We're doing about the same. In fact, I think we're starting to make more money from this line, which is fantastic news, because what I'd like to do is, Dublin's demand has changed. They want to go down to St. David's in Wales. Okay, we could do a boat for that. That would definitely be an option. I'm still very, they want to go to St. David's as well. Interesting. And Belfast to Leeds is a demand as well. Okay, Belfast to Dundalk is a pretty big demand. Are my buses making money yet? Not really. They'll get there. It'll happen. They'll figure it out. Is what they'll do. I would like to start setting up some bus routes from Belfast to Dundalk though. So we'll put the ACA on this. We'll build that road. We don't have the money because we have to build a depot in Belfast, which is fair enough. I guess what I might do instead then is Dublin to Dundalk to Belfast, build that road, give me an ACA, create that line. At the very least, it's going to get people moving up and down the coast, which I'm fine with. Not too sure how efficient this is going to be, but it is full coming down, which is good. It looks like it's making money. So I'm actually not too worried about that. I'm kind of wondering if we'd have enough to run a bus line from Derry City to Belfast. But I know, well, we don't have enough money for another depot right now, so maybe we just play it safe. I'm going to connect all of this, though. It's not going to take me 20 episodes to connect all of Ireland this time, the way it did with Transport Fever. I'm going to get this done in a good amount of time. I've also realized I need to pay attention to some of the challenges on the left side of the screen. So connecting Cork to Limerick is going to give me some extra money. So Cork, Limerick, let's make this happen is what we're going to do. We'll build that road. We will get that bus line in there, and that's going to make people hopefully a little bit happier, and hopefully that's going to make me a little bit of money. Tralee to Limerick is a thing as well, although I would like to look at my buses. They are making money. My planes are making money, so we're doing okay on that particular front. Waterford to Tralee is also a thing. Waterford to Dublin is also a thing. Kilkenny to Waterford is also a thing. So let's, how do we want to do this? Let's do Kilkenny to Waterford with the, probably not the Arcalad. It is an upgraded bus. It is better, but I think we can kind of deal with this one. It's $1 million for the hub now, which is not good. That's slightly problematic. Waterford to Dublin though. I wonder if the Dublin to Kilkenny line should be expanded a little bit to go down to Waterford and then back. That is sort of going to overload the buses going from Waterford to Kilkenny though. So anyone from Kilkenny to Dublin might have problems, but I think that's what we're going to do. So we'll go to the, where is it? Dublin to Kilkenny. We can edit this route. We can add Waterford to the end of this. We'll build that road. And so basically what's going to happen here is the bus will go from Dublin to Kilkenny, Kilkenny to Waterford, Waterford to Kilkenny, and back to Dublin. So that will, at the very least, get people moving from Waterford to, well, from Kilkenny to Waterford and then from Waterford to Dublin, because there doesn't seem to be much demand for people to go from Kilkenny to Dublin. So that should work out, is my thinking. I might need to stay on top of this bus and just make sure it's not completely overloaded. It is pretty much running full for most of its route, which is kind of what we're looking for. The number of people wanting to go to Dublin, though, might be problematic. So we might want to do something about that. We definitely might. There's a good number of people waiting in Dublin as well. So maybe what we do is we go in, we look at these vehicles. We only have the one. We can upgrade the Arca to the Arca-Led, which gives us double capacity. And hopefully that's going to mean good things. So looking at this guy, it is filling up with 18 people on board, 18 people on board, 8 people on board, 18 again. So it's doing just fine. It should make some pretty good money, which is, again, kind of what we're looking for. Now, interestingly, we have a lot of demand from Sligo for Limerick and Galway and even Dublin. So it might not be a bad idea to get some roads connected in here. Limerick, however, wants to go to Belfast, and there's a lot of demand for that. So currently people can do that by going from Limerick to Dublin, Dublin to Belfast. All that's going to do is overload Dublin with people that want to go to Belfast. We're gonna run into problems with sort of connecting passengers. So just to make sure that I can still make a ton of money, I think what we'll do is connect Galway to Sligo. And that's gonna mean, hold on, do people from Limerick want to go to Sligo? They want to go, okay, they want to go there from Sligo. Okay, here's what we're gonna do then. Let me look at this line. We're gonna look at Limerick to Galway. We're going to edit the routes. We're gonna add this to the mix, build that road, and confirm that edit, and then hope for the best. I think I'm also gonna upgrade this bus because I think that might be a good idea. And hopefully if we look at this, 11 people on board, 18 people on board, 18 people on board, 18 people on board, it's doing all right. It gives us that connection that we're looking for. Sligo to Dublin is presumably an option via Limerick. So that's all right. Sligo to Galway is also a thing that they can do, although fulfillment is kind of going to be a problem. So we might actually want to put another bus on this route. So if we have a look at it, we can clone it. 100,000 profit from that one bus already is kind of fantastic. The second bus on that route should deal with the number of people that are sitting around waiting to get out of Sligo to go elsewhere. At least hopefully. We might need a third bus for this, to be completely honest with you. There's a distinct possibility. I'm also noticing that, oh no, Galway's starting to get sorted out. Yeah, okay, we're chipping away at it. We're doing all right. We also have about $2 million now, so let's start looking at some slightly better connections. Tralee to Limerick should be a thing. We'll get that going. We'll do, how many people for Limerick? 15 and 7 for Galway. Okay, we'll use the Arca-Led because it's going to be able to move a bunch of people. We'll create that route, and that'll start letting everybody kind of move from Tralee to Limerick. I'm not expecting that to make a ton of money, but if and when Tralee levels up, it'll be a little bit better. Now, we did just have Cork level up, which means Cork now wants to go to Truro. It's an option. We could run a boat down there. There's not a lot of demand for it, so I'm not really too concerned about it. Dublin wants, people from Mullingar want to go to Dublin. Quite a lot of them want to go to Dublin, so actually let's set this up. We'll use the Arca-Led again and build that road. And that'll let people go from Mullingar to Dublin. And then Derry City wants to go to Belfast and down to Galway. So I think what we do is we create 2 lines here. We get one going across like this, which by all accounts should probably be a train line, but it's what we're going to do. I want to flip this so my depot is actually in Belfast. I think that's fine. No one wants to, oh no, we need to build a hub in Belfast. That's fine. So that is sorted out. And then Derry City's Sligo is the other one that we need to do, which means I am going to need to build a hub in Sligo or Derry City, which is slightly problematic. Although technically people can get on a bus here to get to Galway. They can go Derry City to Belfast, Belfast to Dublin, Dublin to Limerick, Limerick to Galway. So you know what? We are actually solving that problem, and therefore everywhere is connected here, which is amazing. But it seems like we're losing money. Let's figure out why. My planes are losing money. Dublin to Manchester is being fulfilled, although it doesn't seem like it's being fulfilled very well. And my buses are kind of doing okay. They're not doing amazingly, which kind of has me thinking that maybe a smaller bus on this Derry City line would have been an idea. Mullingar to Dublin as well, I think could probably be a smaller bus. So let's go. We're not upgrading. We're actually going to downgrade this to the Arca because I think that's going to save me a little bit of money. And then up this way, I sort of want to do the same thing. We'll go to the smaller bus just to make sure that efficiencies are kind of in check and that everything's good there. And that's hopefully going to sort us out. I'm really worried about this line. The Tralee to Limerick line, I think similar things are going on here. I think we want to go for the smaller bus. So we'll go down to the Aka right here as well, again, to sort of save some money. And I'm also noticing that Dublin to Kilkenny is not being fulfilled very well at all. So Dublin to Waterford is the line that sort of deals with that. Waterford there's a ton of people want to go to Limerick, which is not exactly ideal. So I think what we do is we look at Dublin to Waterford. It has one Arcolot on there. I think we can go and maybe not replace it, but I think instead just clone it and hope for the best on that one. And it looks like it's moving people around. We are seeing some money here, which is good. So hopefully, I mean, that bus is filling up pretty much everywhere it goes, which is just incredible. If we look at this, we are now sort of dealing, the fulfillment is there. People do have to wait a little bit, but it's not the end of the world. So that's okay, I think. I'm relatively sure we can deal with that. Waterford to Limerick is getting sorted out as well. I think that's people transferring in Kilkenny, which is all right by me, although Kilkenny's demand to Limerick is terrible. So let me upgrade you to the Arcolod. That seems like a great idea. And then we'll take a look here and see how that's going. We can have a little bit of a look at the fulfillment and see if it's actually being addressed at all. It's kind of not. So Limerick to Kilkenny, I'm wanting to say it might need another bus on there just to really start moving these people back and forth. Is that doing anything for us? Again, not really, which is sort of to be expected. What's going on with this, just in case you're curious, is essentially the number of people that are trying to transfer here. You can see this is our indirect capacity number. So indirect capacity is the maximum amount of indirect travelers a city can accommodate until further travelers will start avoiding the city for connecting routes. Essentially, there are people from Limerick wanting to go to Dublin and Waterford, and Belfast as well. So we have people that are coming to Kilkenny to transfer to go elsewhere. So if we look at Limerick, there is demand for people that want to go to Belfast. There are people that want to go to Galway as well. That Galway line in particular is likely going to need more vehicles. It's making a ton of money, but there are so many people that want to go there that I think doing something about that is going to be a good idea. Waterford is doing okay. Kilkenny is starting to chip away at the Limerick numbers, but it could be better. The Waterford run is, we might want to do something about it, and the Dublin one as well. Let's see. So Dublin to Waterford. Can I upgrade any of these yet? Is it still the Aka? No, we have got the Stortend, which goes to 27 people. Let's try that out. And we'll take a look at that vehicle and see if it actually fills up. We can see it over here on the left, right here. 27 people, 14 people, 27 people. That seems fine. And that seems like we're doing sort of what we need to do with that. So that's not so bad. I think we're doing okay. I would like to mess with some more planes. I think that would be kind of a nice thing to do. So Dublin to Manchester right now is being fulfilled. I don't think we need more planes in this run. Let's see. Belfast wants to go to St. David's. Belfast also wants to go to Limerick, and that's not really being fulfilled, but we'll figure that out. They want to go to Dundalk, but that's not being fulfilled. Glasgow and Inverness want to go to Belfast. So I am willing to make that happen. So Belfast to Glasgow, we are going to do some planes. We could go for the expensive one. If we have a look at this plane, expected profits at maximum capacity is 396,000. I am going to go for this one, the $500,000 one, just because I think that's going to be a little bit better for us. And then what we'll do is Belfast to Inverness and do exactly the same thing so that we can start moving people from Scotland to Belfast and then onwards from there. Now the Dundalk line is not moving people at all, which I assume is because of indirect passengers from Derry City to Galway. So since we have the money, let's do a connection to Sligo, and We'll do Galway as well. I'm not too sure how profitable it's going to be, but we'll give this a shot, and we'll use the Arcalud. I'm not too sure if it's going to make a ton of money, but we'll give it a shot. We'll get a hub in Derry City as well. And that should reduce the throughput. That should reduce the passengers going through Belfast to get to Galway and beyond. That should give them a bit more of a direct route, which means that travelers from Belfast to Dundalk should eventually have a better time and should be able to actually get down there. I'm also thinking that we're still using a relatively basic bus here, which is, I'm assuming, full. It is. So we'll upgrade this to the Arcalud. And again, hopefully that's going to get people moving out of Belfast just that little bit easier. Now, interestingly, there are people in Douglas that want to go to both Belfast and Dublin. So I think we'll have a little bit of fun here with some boats and get that set up. So we'll go for some ships. We'll go for something. Let's see. The little Explorer is fast and is going to be the most profitable, I think, because of that, because of the capacity and the speed benefits of it. So let's do, I want to say Belfast to Douglas, because that's where the hub happens to be. And then we'll do Dublin to Douglas also with the little Explorer. And I've got no idea if that's going to be profitable. I've got really no clue, but we do have people in here that can now go to both of those places. We also have some overlap from Belfast to Limerick, because apparently that's the route to take for that. I guess that's totally fine. We can work with that. How is Limerick doing? They still want to go to Truro. Oh, and there's a lot of people here. So people from Derry City, from Sligo, Kilkenny, Waterford, and Galway want to go to Dublin, Tralee, and Cork. Ooh, I don't love that. I don't love that. We do have some money, and I'm very tempted to build some train lines. I'm very, very tempted to build some train lines. We could just do Derry City to Belfast to Dundalk, Dublin, Waterford, and Cork, just right down the coast. I'm kind of curious to see how much that would cost if that's a thing that I wanted to do. So if we wanted a train line in here, if we wanted to use the Class 2663, we are looking at 1.2 million for the vehicles alone, $383,000 for the first section of track, $236,000 for the next, 219, 465, 617,000. Oh, that's a lot of money. Let's speed the game up a little bit and see how much money we're making right now, because we are doing okay. The problem is this train line is probably not going to be super efficient, because what's most likely going to happen is the buses are already sort of doing their thing. This will sort of impact profits from buses, I think, but I kind of want to do it. So we're going to build all of this and we're going to put the train on there. And that seems fine. I'm curious to see how it goes. It is picking up a ton of passengers. It is moving people around, which is good. And it is making money. It's making actually quite a lot of money. Wasn't really expecting this, but it is making a nice amount of money, which is great. Looking at my vehicles, there are some of them that are losing a little bit here and there. That's okay. My train's doing fine. My planes are doing fine. My boats are doing fine. Everything's doing fine, which is great. I love it. Very, very happy with this. Now, something I will say, you might notice, you know, we've got other companies sort of doing their thing here. We have these guys. This is Arabian Express operating out of London right now. I think, yeah, they're the ones with the hub in London. I would like to take this over at some point. I'd very much like to take this over at some point, but oh wow, they've connected up the entire way to Scotland as well. What I'm slightly tempted to do is build a hub in Scotland right here in Glasgow and start connecting just everywhere in Scotland and work my way down into England and Wales. That could be kind of interesting to do. Also, Europe is getting connected really, really nicely. We have a company over here called Global Southern who are doing their thing. I can take over other companies, by the way. That is a thing that I can do. I'm just keenly aware that they can also take me over. So I need to be careful and I need to make as much money as I can to sort of stop that from happening. So we do need to be careful that we don't go completely broke. but I would like to take over London at some point. Now, there are a couple of ways we can do that, and something I mentioned in the last video that I did on this game was that there is a hub manager thing that you can enable, which can sort of help you out a lot. So if I was to go into my hub settings here, I can upgrade the hub that we have in Dublin. Right now, there are 7 out of a possible 8 vehicles. If I spend 391,000 to upgrade this, I can now have 12 vehicles. If I was to spend $200,000 to hire a hub manager, I can essentially have the game itself manage my lines or expand my cities. And what that does is if it has money, it'll buy vehicles, it'll put them on lines that have demand, and it's just kind of back and forth like that. It's a whole thing. I'm very tempted is what I'm getting at. Also, there's a ton of people just waiting in Dublin to go just everywhere, it seems. This almost makes me wonder if we should put another train on here, because some of them, well, they want to go to Limerick, Galway, Tralee. Most of them want to go to Limerick. Do we have a solid Dublin to Limerick line? We actually do. It is still running the ACA. So let's upgrade that to a vehicle with 27 passengers and see if that helps us out just a little bit. I'm certainly hoping that it does. That's the goal anyway, is that people can now get on that Limerick line and head out there. Whether or not it works is to be determined. This number of people just waiting in Dublin is only getting higher and higher, so that has me slightly concerned. Looking at the Limerick line, Dublin to Limerick being here, it actually doesn't seem like it's making much in the way of money, which has me kind of concerned. I don't love that. I mean, it's making a little bit, but it could definitely be doing better. Going down this way, I mean, it's full in both directions as well, so maybe putting another vehicle on that line would be the smart move to just make sure that that line is getting dealt with. The number of people waiting is also going down, which is good. A lot of those were going to Limerick, so we're doing fine there. Limerick seems to be doing all right. Cork is, oh wow. There's a lot of people that want to go from Cork to Limerick as well. Do we want to? Yeah, we want to upgrade this. We definitely want to get the bigger bus on that line because my God, there's a lot of people that want to go back and forth. All right, so I would like to deal with this St. David's demand in Belfast. We have $10 million. We can totally do this. Belfast to St. David's right there. It is possible to do it with boats. We're going to do planes because I think that's just going to be a little bit better for us. We could go for one of these guys with, you know, an estimated $500,000 in profits. 15 people. I think we'll try it. It's a lot of money, but we have a lot of money right now. So I think we'll give this a shot and we'll see if we can move people down here and make a ton of money by moving people back and forth from Belfast to Wales. And it looks like we're doing okay. The plane's pretty much filling up in both directions, which is good. This also gives us a better connection into England because, I mean, the alternative was Manchester. I know this is Wales, but it means you can drive down here. They could get on another company's bus if they wanted to. So that's working out for us. I'm kind of okay with that. Belfast does have people from Limerick wanting to get there. Do we want to do a direct run to Belfast? The Galway line is also struggling a little bit, which is very interesting. Let me upgrade these guys to the Stortund just to see how that goes. It might be a terrible idea. We might be a little bit too much capacity on that, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully that deals with the Galway situation, though. We do have people in here wanting to go to both Sligo and Galway, but we have, yeah, there we go. We're starting to deal with the Belfast situation as well. It should figure itself out. I think we'll be okay. Now, something I'm noticing is that passengers from Limerick to Galway specifically are not moving whatsoever, and it's apparently because of indirect traffic overwhelming vehicle capacity. So we're going to try something here, which is creating a new route with a new bus. This bus has a capacity of 44. It is a proper coach. It is just Limerick to Galway. We're going to create that run and see what happens. Looking at Limerick itself, we are still not moving anyone on this particular thing, which has me really, really concerned. I'd like to look at this coach. It's not full coming back, but it is full going out. So I think that's largely going to be because of the indirect travelers that are going through Limerick. Oh, no, there we go. Now we're dealing with it. Okay. That's good. We're okay, is what we are. We're definitely okay. I don't see any red icons around here right now either, which is great news. Cork has leveled up quite considerably, though. There are people that want to go to St. David's. They want to go to Truro, Swansea. Cork to St. David's is not a long run. Waterford to Oxford is not going to happen, but we could do a boat from Waterford to St. David's and have people get the train from Cork to Waterford. That might not be a terrible idea. I think that's what we're going to do. We'll build this little boat line right here. There's no travelers between those places. We'll have to build a hub in Waterford. That's fine. We should see people from Cork start going to Waterford to then go, yeah, there we go. Full boat down to St. David's. That's dealing with that demand, which is absolutely perfect. This place is a little bit more fulfilled, which is great. So I think what we'll do, because this video is going on a little bit, and I do want to be mindful of that, I want to play with the hub manager just ever so slightly. But I think before we do that, I want to look at my lines and make sure everything's making money, which it all is, minus the Waterford to St. David's line, which I think will improve in efficiency as time goes on. So given that we have $23 million, I'm going to move up towards Scotland, and I'm going to get a hub in Glasgow. I'm going to go in. I'm going to spend a bit of money to upgrade Glasgow to level 5, so we have a capacity of 20 vehicles. I'm going to hire a hub manager. I'm going to pause, and I'm going to put 6 million into Glasgow and tell it to expand the city. And you'll notice it automatically built this road because it will have automatically created 2 routes. Well, no, one of them was me already. Glasgow to Perth has been created as a bus route. So that's just an automatic thing that it does. And now, as it makes money, that money will go into the hub manager, and it will just sort of automatically run Glasgow is what it'll do. Any money that it doesn't spend goes back to me at the end of the month. That's why it just dropped down to negative 7,000. And that's largely because Glasgow to Perth is not a particularly profitable line. There's not that many people that want to go back and forth. In fact, oh no, people do want to go back and forth, just not very many of them is what we're discovering here, which is fine. We could put a hub in Perth as well if we wanted to. We could, I mean, Glasgow's connections are largely being dealt with, I think. So yeah, the little bus right there might have been wishful thinking, but it'll be fine. Let's give him another 2 million. Oh, he bought some, why did he buy some planes? What are they doing? Glasgow to Dublin, Glasgow to Limerick. Okay, does Glasgow have demand for those places? Apparently it does. Right, we're now flying directly into Limerick. That's fair enough. That's totally fine. But you can see how this sort of goes, right? You can see that the hub manager, when it comes to Glasgow, should, if everything goes according to plan, make money. And essentially you can get the game to play itself if you just put a hub manager in every single city. It gets very, very easy, and it's kind of a problem when it gets particularly easy. Now, we do have problems with Manchester, or well, Dublin to Manchester. It is making a ton of money, but it is not moving as many people as I would like. So we are going to put more planes on this, is what we're going to do. And that is now starting to move people, which is great. My goal is to get some better planes, but for now this will do. The Kilkenny line is horrendously overloaded. Kilkenny itself is also horrendously overloaded with people wanting to go to Waterford. So, I mean, Dublin to Waterford is its own line right now. I might change that to Dublin to Kilkenny, although we could also just upgrade this bus to a level 4, so it's actually a coach. Upgrade this to be an actual coach as well. And is that going to start moving people to Waterford that little bit better? I think it will. At least I hope it will. Now this is something that I don't love, and this is something that I can't stop from happening whenever the AI gets involved. I don't love this bridge here, but it's just a thing that's going to be a thing. They will eventually put a bridge between Dover and Calais. We can imagine it's a tunnel if we want to, but we all know it's just a bridge. There's nothing I can do about this, unfortunately. Also, this guy has expanded further with buses from Glasgow to Liverpool and Glasgow to Manchester. That's pretty cool, honestly. I'm sort of okay with that. I don't mind it. He is making money, which is good. We can also upgrade the city if we wanted to. There are some perks in here, but I think we'll deal with those in the not too distant future, just so we don't get too carried away. This is kind of neat though. I do like the idea that we're starting to get, you know, bus routes that go down towards Manchester or Liverpool in this case, and there are people on board, which is good news as well. Obviously, this has the knock-on effect of getting people that can get on a bus in Liverpool, go up to Glasgow and fly to Dublin, which is having problems. It's having a lot of people want to go to Belfast from Dublin. Where is my train line? It's right here. Can I... It's making a ton of money. It's full a lot of the time. I want to put another train on here is what I want to do. I think another train on here might be a really good idea because this one is pretty much full the entire way. So I'm assuming that, and it looks like the little exclamation mark is, well, it's still on Dublin, but I would assume that gets sorted out by having a train that can move a lot more people up to Belfast. At least I would be hopeful that that gets sorted out. It's getting worse, if anything, but hopefully it goes the opposite way soon. Oh no, this is interesting. Arabian Express is running buses from, let's see, what is this one doing? Is this one's doing a big old route is what it's doing. It's going all the way down to Limerick. It's going out to Galway. It is, oh wow. That's a very interesting route that it's taking. I do like that that's a connection, but that might eat into some of my profits as well, which I don't necessarily love. Now I could, if I had the money, buy out this company, which I'm not against doing, but I'd prefer to save up a bunch of money before I start looking in that particular direction. So I think let's play it safe. Let's take a look at our lines and see what's going on. We do have some of these lines from Glasgow to Manchester that are not making a bunch of money. That's slightly problematic. Those are the automated ones though, so it's whatever. My trains are doing just fine. My planes are mostly doing fine. My boats are kind of struggling a bit. I don't love that, but for the most part, we are making money, and that's kind of all I care about. I would like to get some influence in London just before we wrap things up, because if I want to get a hub manager down here, I have to buy out this hub, which is going to cost me 3.3 million, or well, actually, no, to do that, I need 55% trust in the city. Now, trust in a city is this little bar right here. And company trust is basically just going to be how well I deal with like the demand for the city. So looking at London right now, London has demand to go to Paris, and it's not really being fulfilled. So we can be kind of cheeky and go in here and say London to Paris. Let's do a little plane. We'll go for this guy. It is kind of expensive, but it's potentially almost $1 million in profit if we get it going. The route is invalid though, which I realize is going to be a problem. And I think the route's going to be invalid because I don't have a depot here. I forgot about that particular point. So what we can do alternatively is look at somewhere like Birmingham. It has a depot as well. Portsmouth does not have a depot, which is interesting. And there is demand going into London. I could just buy, I can't buy them out. I need the trust. Okay, let's have a little bit of a read about this. Travelers will prioritize companies that have a higher trust value. Trust is based on local passengers transported and can be further increased using marketing. Okay. So these guys, I think, have higher trust in the UK than I do, which is not ideal. If I look here, I think I have trust in, I think Ireland trusts me, but the UK does not. How am I going to get into London in a way that makes people happy? Can I get into Chelmsford? I could, actually. They want to go to Canterbury. They want to go to Paris. Let's... Oh, they don't approve my investment. To buy a hub, you need to have the majority of city travelers trust. Your current trust is 0. Do these guys... Oh, that's just trust in general. Oh. Oh, that's very interesting. Okay. Wait, so how do I get trust with, if I can't get a hub in here? Do I have to like connect to the city? I guess that's sort of a thing. Okay. In which case, Dublin to Nottingham is a thing. Nottingham to Dublin is a thing. It is arguably, yeah, there's another company has an indirect path. Let's do a direct path from Dublin. Let's not do, oh wait, I could do this. We could do Dublin to London, London to Paris, Paris to, oh, now I get it. Okay. Sure, that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna be a little bit cheeky with this one. I would like to do Dublin to Nottingham though. I think that's gonna be a good idea. We'll use the big plane for it as well. We kind of have the money and we'll see how that goes. We'll see if that makes money. It is actually making money, which is good. Looking at our Dublin to Paris line, it is making money on the way to London. It's making money on the way to Paris. It's making money on the way back. It's not making too much on the way back to Dublin, but it is giving us that connection that we were looking for. And now if we look at London, we might be able to start eating into a little bit of this other company's trust, because we're now fulfilling the demand for the Paris route, which I think they are as well. I think they might have just started doing that, which is slightly frustrating, but that's okay. Oh no, this is kind of interesting. It looks like we have demand all the way from Leon down in Spain to go to Dublin. Now, not much, but I think it might be worth setting up a little route. It is admittedly 27 million because we're using a much bigger plane with a significant capacity. But the problem, oh wait, no, we could run a smaller one. Okay, I think we will run the smaller one then. The profit's gonna be just shy of 1 million, which is not great. But I don't think we need a capacity of 78. So we'll create that. We'll absolutely run some people from Dublin to Leon. That seems like a pretty good idea, given that people do seem to want to make that journey, and it gives me a bit of a foothold in Spain as well. So that's all right. We do have some red icons here. We have a little bit of demand to go everywhere, which I don't necessarily love, but we'll figure that out. We also have demand from the Faroe Islands for Edinburgh, Derry City, Dundee. Let's do that. We could use some boats, but I think some planes will kind of be the way to go with this one. So we'll use the 390 transporter because it's relatively affordable. I think we'll do the same thing from here to Edinburgh, I think was the other one that it wanted. So we'll use the transporter again just to get that going. And we'll create a hub up there because it means that I sort of have a little bit of a foothold up that way that I can use to my benefit a little bit further down the line, which I think is only going to be a good thing. And finally, because I've said about 4 times that we're going to wrap things up, we have demand from Birmingham to Dublin. So let's set up another small plane to deal with that so that hopefully we can get, again, a bit of a foothold in England, and maybe if we can start getting some trust in here, we can get some buses or some lines or some kind of hub into Birmingham. That would be kind of good. We haven't really made much of a dent in London's trust, which is fine. We have a ton of people trying to get everywhere in here. That Paris line in particular, I'm almost wondering if it would be a better idea to, let's see, it's not Paris I'm wanting to look at, it's Dublin I want to look at. It's the Dublin to Paris line that I want to look at. I want to swap this guy out. Ooh, do I want to swap it out? I think we swap it out for the Clipper. It is potentially going to be way more profitable, and I think we can also get rid of the other transporter. And that way, if we look at the Clipper, this thing can now move 78 people from Dublin to London, and then they all just want to go to Paris. Paris to London, London to Dublin. We're not picking anyone up in London, which is probably why the London demand for Paris is not really being dealt with, but this thing is making a ton of money. So much so that I think I'm going to get another one, just because I can. Just because I'm curious to see if that does anything for me. And if it deals with the London demand for Paris, then London might start to like me a little bit more, and that would be really nice. And just in case you were curious, this is what our numbers are looking like right now. The Limerick to Kilkenny line using the bigger bus is losing a ton of money. So I think what we'll do is get rid of one of those because it's not really doing us any favors right now. We are losing some money on Tralee to Limerick as well, which is using one of the bigger buses. Does it fill up going back? It kind of does. I think it's just a matter of it not being full. Maybe a small, well, I don't know. I don't know what way to go with that. It fills up in one direction, it doesn't in the other. It's kind of inconsistent. Maybe going down to a level 3 vehicle would be a better idea, just for the sake of efficiencies. My trains, on the other hand, are doing wonderfully, so much so that I would argue we could probably put another one in there. I don't know if I want to do that right now, but it's slightly tempting. I clicked the wrong button, I'm going to be honest with you. I wanted to look at the upgrade button, but sure. A third train is what we're going to go for. My planes are doing okay. The Belfast to St. David's line does have 2 planes on there. There was considerable demand for Belfast to St. David's at one point, but it seems like it's kind of, it's being dealt with. It's not huge demand, so that sort of checks out. We do have a lot of people wanting to go to Limerick from Belfast as well, so hopefully that train is going to do something about that. It's very tempting, actually, to just say that maybe we run the train around like this. Like, maybe it's not the worst idea in the world to just run the train line. Well, that's not really what I'm looking for there. I kind of want it to go, I'll do it manually, is what we'll do. So from Cork, we'll sort of come out this way to Tralee. We'll sort of curve up like this and into Limerick, and we'll create that. And then if we look at this line, we can edit the route and say that after Cork, it goes to Tralee, then to Limerick, and then it just goes back. So that way, you can now, I mean, I could almost just loop this up into like well, I could probably loop this up into Galway, Sligo, and back to Derry, so we just do a loop around, but this should be fine. That should solve some of the issues that we're seeing and hopefully continue to make a ton of money. Now, I really would like to get a bit of a foothold in here. I'm slightly concerned about the fact that we don't have a huge foothold around here. Edinburgh, interestingly, I am gonna get a hub in Edinburgh because the other company doesn't have one yet, and that means that I can have one in here. We do have one in Glasgow, and Glasgow is doing quite well for itself. London, we are getting there. We're starting to build trust in London, which is great. We are largely the ones fulfilling the Paris demand from London, so we might be able to get a foothold in there at some point. We need 55% trust to buy out the hub that's already there, so we have that as a possibility, which is amazing. There are people from Edinburgh that want to go to Newcastle and also to Cardiff, so here's what we're going to do just before we wrap things up. Upgrade Edinburgh to level 5, put a hub manager in there. We have 47 million, give him 20 million, and he puts a good old coach in there to wait, where is that going? Oh, that's the Newcastle one, and then this is going down to Cardiff, so that's fine. We'll fly people from Edinburgh to Cardiff. We'll get the coach going down to Newcastle. That's totally fine. We'll kind of let this guy just do what he's doing and continue to upgrade and do good things. But I think that is going to do us for today. I'm excited to see what we can do with this. Obviously, the game is called Worldwide Rush, so the goal at some point is going to be to have a worldwide rush of traffic and passengers going everywhere. We do obviously have connections from Spain now, which I'm very excited about and I'm very, very happy about. We have a good number of people wanting to go from Spain to Dublin, so that gives us a bit of international connection right there. We're working on London, and I think we'll get there. I think my ultimate goal, to be totally honest with you, is going to be to buy out this other company, Arabian Express. I'd like to get that company. There is also these guys, Global France. They are worth 192 million, which is insane. That's a lot of money. These guys are worth yeah, also a lot of money. 207. What am I worth? What's my company worth, right? Oh, 143 million. That's not bad. Okay, I can work with that. Yeah, I can work with that. As long as we don't get bought out, I can work with that. That is going to do us for today, though. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. This has been an absolute pleasure, as always. If you're new around here, do feel free to hit that subscribe button. There will be more of this coming very soon. If you like the video, like the video. But with all of that said and done, I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.